Hey everyone, welcome to Group Text. My guests today have a combined 7 million followers on Instagram alone. They
I
are,
got at least 100,000 of those.
hey, you,
At least 100,000.
Peanut Gallery, we'll get to you.
I contributed.
You did, we'll get to that. They are a power couple who are both big time entertainers from different sides of the professional tracks. And I can't wait for them to tell the story of the absolutely insane way that they met and fell in love. WWE Superstar Alexa Bliss, aka Lexi Cabrera, and pop music star Ryan Cabrera. Welcome to Group Text. Ryan, I'm just going to start with you. Just jumped right in and admitted that she's the Instagram power in the family.
Yeah, she's the social media queen.
She is. You guys are all over it. But before we get into all of the current things, explain to listeners how you met and started dating. Because if it was in a movie, everyone would call bullshit. Like, oh yeah, like that would ever happen.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of layers actually to it that we eventually
so how long you got?
unfolded. But the original thing went down. So we try to, okay, we'll go forward and backwards. So I think what happened, because we have like a guess as to how it happened. So we think that my social media people at the time, there was one person specifically running my Twitter and whatnot. I was on a show on USA Network called Ms. and Mrs. And obviously me and Mike, who's the Miz, a WWE wrestler, have been friends for like 20 years. So I'm on his show. So we think that my social media person started following all the WWE wrestlers and liking all their stuff as of like maybe promotion for the show. So Lexi was getting a lot of likes from Ryan Cabrera on Twitter.
Excessive.
Like liking everything that she was doing.
I still have the screenshot of it, of my timeline, because I sent it to my friend Kaylin because it said Ryan liked this tweet, Ryan replied to this tweet, Ryan liked this tweet, Ryan replied to this tweet, all within like a day. It was like 50 notifications. And I texted my friend, I was like, this guy needs to calm down. Like, this is weird. Like, I don't know him, like all this stuff. And he was liking my tweets and one other girl in WWE's tweets. And I just thought it was funny. And wrestling fans saw that because everything on Twitter is public. You can see who likes whose stuff and all that stuff. Started making a rumor that we were dating. They just assumed that we were dating.
Yeah, like why is he liking all her stuff if they're not together?
So they're all
well, unless it sounds like you appeared a little stalkery.
It's fine. It works. Now, mind you, I don't do Twitter. Like we have one, but we just basically anything I post on Instagram, they take it and they'll post it on Twitter or whatnot. I don't even know how to get into my Twitter. So I did not know this meanwhile. So
and there was like a rumor that we were dating.
They started a rumor saying we were dating because obviously he's liking all her stuff.
Ended up like on TMZ, like all this stuff, this rumor that we were together. Yeah. And we had met because of that.
Yeah. I got a call from Mike and he was like, oh, so Maurice told me that you're dating Alexa Bliss. And I'm like, huh? So I had no idea what was going on. So I was confused. She was confused because obviously we hadn't even met. Now we'd been on many red carpets together, never met each other, didn't know, we had never crossed paths or anything.
In the same room quite a few times, never met each other.
And then I happened to be on my way to Orlando to play some shows at Epcot, and we started chatting. And she was like, "Oh, I live in Orlando." I'm like, well, "What are you doing tomorrow night?" And so she came out to a show, and then she just fell in love.
That is not how that happened.
Anyways, next question. Moving right along.
Lexi, how did that happen? Because I had this vision of two drunk publicists going, this is a good one.
Yeah. No, so I'll be nice about it. So I don't know him, right? He went to his first, he did this first.
Not to tell the whole story, but we could just fast forward to the first night we met.
So that was the first night we met.
Okay.
So the first night we met, I had already gotten a couple drunk FaceTimes from Ryan the night before.
It's a good look.
I wasn't going to go to the show because I was like, don't ever FaceTime me like that again.
Here's the way I saw it. I saw it as, that's as bad as it could get. So if you're still willing to talk to me after that, it's only going to go up from here. So guys, fellas, set the bar real low. Don't just come out the gate thinking, boom, 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 because then it's just going to go like that. So I set it down here and then went all the way up. Yep.
So I go
very clever.
Took her on a date to a movie, one-on-one, and then went bowling.
Then our schedules had matched up like 7 cities in a row after we had met. And we both tour full time. And so it was crazy that the next few shows, he was like, oh, you should come to Chicago. I was like, I'm in Chicago. He's like, you should come to New York. I'm in New York. So we had actually had our schedule somehow lined up 7 cities in a row. So we were like, all right, like we should give this a chance, like see
She
where
was
this goes.
she was trying not to hang out, but it just, fate kept doing its thing. And I was like, well, I'm in Chicago and I'm here, so why don't we hang out? She's like, well, maybe. She
Oh yeah, I
she
kept
gave me a
hitting
lot
the
of
maybes.
maybes.
He hated the
I wasn't
maybes.
used to maybes. And then, or I'd be like, okay, how about we meet at this thing, do a thing. And she'd be like, sure. I'm like, what do you mean, sure? I'm like, what? Why not? Like, yeah, excited to see you. It was none of that. So she was definitely a hard one to, I had to be very persistent.
I don't trust people.
I understand that. And just to back up about the happening to be in the same 7 cities at the same time, Ryan, it leads me a little bit more towards that stalkery thought. Anyway.
Again, that's what I was waiting for. I was like, after 6 months, I was like, by the way, that rumor? Nailed it.
And be happy you got a sure and not just the letter K.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's always a good one.
Okay. Yeah,
so Lexi, you became a WWE Superstar in 2016, and your titles and championships are too much to mention. What was it like the early days being suddenly recognized as this bad bully who carries around a creepy little doll and like chokes people out?
It's actually a lot of fun. So I started in WWE when I was 21. They signed me right when I turned 21. And I had trained in NXT for about 3 years before going to the main roster. And I debuted as this just really mean girl that was, how I explained to her is the guys wanted to date her. She'll break your jaw, break your wrist, but you still ask her to prom. Girls hated her, but wanted to be her, kind of a thing. That's kind of what I wanted to do. And I actually took a lot of my real high school experience from how I was treated and implemented it into this character.
So obviously you've channeled whoever she was in high school.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why it was such a relatable character for people to kind of sink their teeth into, because everyone knew that girl. Everyone knew of her, or they were her. And so that kind of transitioned me into different characters. I had evolved to like 6 different characters before coming across the evil Alexa, which is the one that she was a demonic kids show host who carried a doll whose name was Lily, named after the demon Lilith. And it was so much fun, actually. And it was probably the most fun I've ever had in my career, because I was working with Bray Wyatt, who his character was very dark and demonic and evil. And it was just you had so much creative freedom to go anywhere you wanted with it. And oddly enough, my character as Dark Alexa, is what we call it, Dark Alexa, resonated so well with young girls and young boys. And these kids loved it.
Very different reasons.
Yeah, for very different. They just loved the whole concept of the Lily doll, and they loved being able to dress up like this character. And I remember there was like Halloween, I had like just on Instagram alone, it was like over like 250 kids just dressed up, posted pictures of dressed up like me. And it was just so cool. And so like a full circle moment. So I remember I used to like dress up as like my favorite characters or my favorite people for Halloween. And then people are dressing up as me. And so it was really cool to have that transition into, small town from Ohio to being someone that people dress up as. And it's like so cool and so fun. And I think it's like my favorite part of what we do is being able to, resonate with people and connect with them on a level.
What drew you to this line of work to start with?
I kind of fell into it.
Why did you do this to yourself?
I don't know. So
yeah, well, I got I got the same question for you coming, which being in the music business, you're just as masochistic. So we'll get to that.
I had done bodybuilding. So after college, I did college cheer. After cheer, I did bodybuilding. And after I got my pro card there, I just wanted something else to do. Because I didn't really want to deal with the politics and all that stuff of the bodybuilding world. And my trainer at the time said, oh, I heard WWE was having tryouts. And he knew that my family had watched WWE as a kid and I was familiar with it. And so I just went online and submitted a video on WWE.com. There was like a link saying, do you want to be a WWE superstar? I was like, yes, I do. Clicked it, sent in a video. I'm standing in a bikini, because you have to be in a swimsuit at the time, and talking about why I want to be a WWE superstar, and didn't think anything would come of it. And I got sent to a cast call with 1,500 girls in LA, and I was signed on the spot. And they told me I was moving to Tampa in 3 months, and to hope that I was athletic as I looked.
Wow.
And that's when the bumps and bruises started.
But what an amazing trajectory. Now, Ryan, you've been in the music business. I mean, you're young, but you're still a veteran.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just
Been
like
20 years now.
which is insane.
It's definitely insane.
What made you decide that you wanted to be in the music business?
To get girls.
Yep, I was gonna say girls.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty is always the best policy.
At that time, when you're 18 years old, you're like, all right, I'm not good with ladies, so maybe I'll pick up the guitar and start to sing. I loved music. Dave Matthews was actually the original reason why. Like, I saw Dave Matthews perform. I was like, I want to do that. So I saw him on stage, and then at that point, it was like, all right, pick up the guitar and just start writing songs.
Were you always musically inclined as a kid?
Oh no, I never. I started late. Like, I started like right around 18. My brother wanted to play the drums, so he was like, "Hey, we're gonna start a band. You're gonna be the singer." And I was like, "Yeah, but I can't sing." He's like, "Yeah, but you have to." So, I just was thrown into that position. I thought I was just gonna be the guitar player, and I started a band. And then next thing I know, like my brother got, as a birthday gift, got me recording studio time, and he didn't have enough money to record the whole band, so I went in acoustic, sang 3 songs, and then the producer, the guy at the studio, was like, "Hey, I think you're really dope. Like, I'll record your whole album that you're making for free if you just want to come and record." And then that was how I pissed off my 4 other best friends, because I guess I went solo at that moment
Without even knowing it.
Yeah, wasn't even trying. But I blame it on my brother. He could only afford 3 songs. But so that was how the solo career started. And then I was performing at the Hard Rock. Joe Simpson, who's Jessica and Ashley's dad, saw me perform and goes, "You're moving out to LA with me and the family." I said, "Okay." And so I packed up a bag, had a pair of flippy floppies, and then I moved in with the Simpson family 3 days later.
And what did your parents think?
Oh, they were pissed.
I'm sure. Did you just come home and announce this?
No, I think they were out of town.
Hey, what's up? Just FYI, I'm moving to LA.
Yeah. And I remember they still to this day is like, "When are you going to get a real job?" I'm like, "Guys, like, what do you mean?" It was they gave me all kinds of hell, but I knew what I wanted to do at that point. I was like, I'm moving to LA with the Simpson family in this giant mansion in Encino, California to play music. I'm going to be, a big star. And they're like, "Yeah, that's not how it works." I'm like, "Watch." And then I got very lucky. Obviously, I sang for every record label. I got turned down by every record label. And then until I wrote a couple songs, and they were like, "Wait, no. I love you. What are you talking about? Come back. And so I ended up signing a record deal. And then next thing you know, on TV. And I still consider it very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time.
No kidding. And so in 2004, On the Way Down blows up. Where were you the first time you heard your song on the radio?
Oh, I was on Sepulveda and Ventura, right outside of Tower Records, outside the Galleria.
You showed me that when we drove.
Yeah, when we drove by, because I was.
I know the spot.
Right there, the Tower Records back in the day that I used to go. I used to go every, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. It was like when they put the new records out, and I go listen to music. And I remember one day I'm like, my CD is going to be on that thing. And I was driving by, I was on Kiss FM, and there was a line, because I guess there was an in-store. There was a line of people down Sepulveda Boulevard, and I opened up my windows, and I heard On the Way Down for the first time on Kiss FM, and I started yelling at everyone. I was like, "Hey, that's my song. That's me." And they're like, no, Stoop. I'm like, "No, all right, never mind." So I'll never forget that moment for sure.
Was it just so surreal?
Of course. At that point, I was like, "Wait, this doesn't make sense. Like, this might actually be happening." It was pretty cool.
God, Kiss FM. So when you guys met, did you have, okay, Ryan, you obviously knew who Lexi was because you were friends with the Miz, who, by the way, might be one of the nicest human beings alive, along with John Cena. Like, they used to get me tickets to go see with my son. I did all of it. I was like, super boy mom. So I'm guessing you knew who Lexi was, Lexi, did you even have a vague idea who Ryan was, or when this guy started stalking you online, did you have to Google him?
So I know Ryan didn't know who I was.
It was
'cause
actually
when
obvious. Yeah, I
Maze-
didn't know who
when
she was.
Maze mentioned my name, he thought it was a clothing brand because he's like, I heard you're Alexa Bliss. And
Yeah, because
thought
he
it was a
phrased it as
clothing
like, I
brand.
heard you're linked to Alexa Bliss. I was like, linked to. I was like, wait, is that a clothing brand or something? I thought it was a store or whatnot. He's like, no, it's one of our wrestlers. And he's like, she's really pretty. Like, you should. I was like, why aren't you hooking your boy up? I was like, what are you talking about? And then I saw her picture. So I told him, I was like, next time she's in town, you know, introduce us. I hadn't even seen her yet. And then when we started chatting, I saw her. You should have a number. What's up?
I knew of Ryan. Yeah, I knew. So I
She
knew,
thought I was married to Ashley Simpson.
I thought he was married to Ashley Simpson. Like in my brain, like
That's a true
because
story.
I knew I knew that he was on the Ashley Simpson show and I knew that they dated. So I just assumed that he grew up and married her. That's just what I assumed. Like my small town mentality. I was like, oh,
You are
they
not
must
keeping up
be-
with pop culture.
I'm not. And so I knew his songs. Yes. I knew On the Way Down. I knew True because one of my friends, when I was in the hospital with anorexia, she was obsessed with Ryan, like obsessed. Her and her little sister were super obsessed. And they would always play True. And so I remember always hearing it. And then when I met Ryan, it was like one of those weird like memory log things that you're like, when I heard True again, I was like, oh my God, that was the song that was playing when I was in the hospital. Because my friend would just always play it when she would come and hang out. I was like, that's so trippy. That's like so like full circle moment. And so, and that was like a really like dark time in my life. And so it was like kind of cool to not realize that that was a full circle moment. But I remember right before we met, I remember I was in, was like Tilly's or something?
It was right before we met. How would I know where you were?
Because I've told you this story.
Oh,
Because
okay.
you were
Yeah.
stalking her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You were in
should
Tilly's.
know.
I was in the back watching,
And
waiting.
Waiting to do a drunk FaceTime.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard On the Way Down, and I remember thinking, oh, I wonder like what he's up to. Like, I wonder if he ended up marrying Ashley Simpson, probably. And like, that's the only thing I ever thought.
Nope. Marrying you, Sim.
Not even like 2 weeks later was when the rumors started. And it was just, I knew of him and I knew of his hair because there was a kid in our school named Darren Scarberry who had Ryan's hair. And we always made fun of him for it. We were
Sweet.
like, okay, Ryan Cabrera. But that was really all I knew.
Everybody had that one kid at school. You're like, oh, Ryan Cabrera hair.
Yeah, he had the Coop Shells, he had
Yeah.
the polo, he had the
Hey, at the
striped
time,
hair.
I was a trendsetter.
You were.
Look at 5 Seconds of Summer.
Oh yeah, just all of it.
True, you were like, you know, a big deal.
We were
Yeah.
doing it before. The puka shells were it. I had a line of jewelry at Claire's.
Yeah, I remember the Claire's line.
Oh, those days.
But yeah, I knew of him, but I wasn't like, I didn't like follow
Right.
like
Yeah. She doesn't have the newest album, is what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want
At
to
that
jump
point.
ahead because you brought up your battle with anorexia and that you went on then to get a master's degree in nutrition. And I'm just going to jump ahead because there's so much we could keep going on about the love story, but I want to jump ahead because now you're pregnant.
I am pregnant.
You are pregnant. Yes, I said now you're pregnant. How and it's hard. It's very hard for even women that do not have eating disorders to cope with their bodies when they're pregnant. Plus, you're basically a professional athlete who is not used to her body not doing what it's supposed to do when she decides it's supposed to do it. Like I know for me, I was like, my brain was like, okay, we got to get this done, this done, this done, this done, this done. And my body would go like, no, give me the finger and pass out on the couch. And you wake up like with your feet still on the floor and tipped over. How are you coping with that? Because it's very triggering for athletes and people who've dealt with eating disorders.
For me, I think I more so cope with humor about it. Like yesterday, I tried on my old gear, my wrestling gear.
That was fun.
And with the belly and everything. And I think for me, it's more so like I'll complain daily, and poor Ryan has to listen to it daily, but it's never super serious. You know, I was able to get to a point with my body where it actually started when I stopped working out so much, because I was working out when I first got on Raw or SmackDown. I was working out way too much. I would do 5 a.m. spin class, 3 hours in the ring, an hour and a half in the gym, and then a 5 p.m. spin class. And I just wore myself out. My body was so stressed. I was always swollen from putting my body through so much trauma, and anything I was eating was sticking to me. And so it was super strange. And so when COVID happened, I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give my body and my mind just a reset. And I'm just going to see, like, what is my homeostasis? What is my point of balance where I stopped working out and I just like kind of just ate like a normal meal, not like I didn't measure my chicken anymore. I didn't measure everything I was eating. And I was like, I'm just trying to do like a little mental and body experiment, see what is going on. And when that happened, my body had never felt better. It had never looked better because my body had gone to the place where it's supposed to be. And I had never had that before because I was always working out because of something that I hated about myself or something I didn't like about my body. I was trying to work out to compensate for that. And then when I started just kind of doing things like exercise, like when we go on hikes and stuff, it's more for try to reset my mental state with that, with, you know, working out doesn't have to be something that you're doing because you don't like yourself. You can do things like we were doing, like Pilates a little bit, like just trying little things to see what's going to make me feel good about myself. So when it comes to the pregnancy weight gain, at first I thought I was rocking it because my first trimester ended and I had gained 2 pounds and I was like, oh, easy. Not even a week later, the scale jumped like 10 pounds. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And luckily, I think I've been okay. Like for
why are you looking at me?
Because I want you to justify this for me, even if you don't agree. I feel like I've been okay because now I just kind of find humor in it. Like the fact that like my pants, like actually it was a sad day when I had to go to Lululemon and go up 2 sizes. That was a really sad day.
There's always that. Now, are you an over the hump or are you over the bump or under the bump?
It depends on what I'm wearing. When I'm wearing
usually over now.
Yeah, right now I'm over. My pants are over. But all my maternity stuff I've bought have been under the bump. And so it doesn't make me feel as like strapped in. But yeah, like I found a new love for maternity clothes. I was like, I should just wear this after the baby because the fact that there's jean shorts that just have a yoga pant material at the top, why aren't we wearing that normally? It's great. And the prenatal massages, oh my gosh, I felt like I've always been gypped now, knowing how great prenatal massages are. I feel like I told Ryan, I was like, you need to find a way to get a prenatal massage because those are the best.
I've read that your cravings are mac and cheese and French fries. What's interesting is I had food aversions.
Yep.
I was the opposite.
Yeah,
Like, what are your food aversions? Because people don't understand. Like, mine were so bad that I would have to run out of a room.
Taco smash burgers and eggs. Sometimes.
I can't even hear you say it.
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
He makes this meal.
Well, normally she loved it. Like when I first started making, before she was pregnant, they're so good. And now she even smells it.
It's a smash burger
She's
taco.
out. Yeah.
And it's
smash burger with cheese and then just like with the taco shell.
No, with a quesadilla on the outside. And just like, I think it's because when I first found out I was pregnant and my smells were so heightened.
That was right.
He was making them and just the smell of the meat being cooked. I can't.
Yeah. And then sometimes eggs too.
Eggs. I used to love eggs.
We find out on like the day, like, okay, can I do eggs today or can I not do eggs today?
Yeah, it's very hit or miss. Like one time we went to this place and he had this big omelet. He goes, oh, babe, it's the best omelet I've ever had. Try it. And so he puts a chunk of it on my plate. I try a bite of it and I go, nope, get it off my plate. I can't do it today. No eggs today. Get it off. And like, I like, you can't even smell, look, or hear about it.
No, I used to have to leave the room if there was a pieces of raw chicken breast in the room. I had to leave the room. Like it was bad. And the other thing I didn't want, which was so weird, was refined sugar. And I'm a complete sweet person. But guess what? Within the first 12 hours of giving birth, I was shoveling cookies in my mouth.
Back in.
So life backstage, you know, you had the cutest pregnancy announcement. Whose idea was that to reenact the scene from Friends?
I think it was
both of us.
Both, yeah.
Yeah, we both love Friends.
Had that conversation.
Yeah, and it was actually the way it went down. So after that, we were both like, oh my God, that was just like how Ross told Rachel, or Rachel told Ross was, and so we're like,
verbatim the
we should
conversation
do
we
that.
had when we found out we were pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I told him, I was like,
So I'm like, what do you mean? I used a condom. She's
like, they're not effective.
yeah, it doesn't work all the time. I'm like, what? What? They just put that on the box.
And so I started laughing because I was like, you just quoted.
Like, I've never looked at the box, obviously.
And so we decided to reenact it to tell.
We love Friends, so it worked out great.
Yeah, it turns out you had a swimmer with like a football helmet on. Busting through the line.
But I think it was the one time like we used a different condom brand than what we normally use. So we think it was that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, don't plug them. So you're both entertainers. You both live life on the road, which is something I can relate to. How are you going to balance it? Because it's not easy. I mean, I grew up a backstage.
That was the thing, like
rat child.
He, does live shows and then Monday Night Raw or whatever brand they're on, and I'm on tour all the time too. But like basically, if we have any days off, like she'll fly out to me or I fly out to her, and it's worked out. Like still, we probably haven't been more than 5 days apart since we've been together.
Yeah, and the babies too. The situation with babies is WWE. They've kind of really changed their landscape ever since the women's evolution. And before, when a woman would get pregnant in WWE, she would leave and then maybe come back and maybe, appear every once in a while. But now we have, I think, 4 or 5 women on our active roster who had just had babies, and the babies come on the road, and now it's a thing now. And, they really embrace, motherhood now backstage and all that stuff. And it's really cool to see the different shift in dynamic with babies and stuff on the road. So basically just
we'll be on the road. Same thing with me. Like our backstage has kids, like we have babies running around.
Babies running around.
So
we have babies running around.
It's like it's a family, wherever we go. And I think it's good for them to travel and be around people and good people,
Socialize.
and our baby's gonna have a lot of aunts and uncles.
A lot of aunts and uncles.
That is how I was raised. It's interesting because you're both performers, but Lexi, you especially, what the baby's going to see backstage are people in costumes and this and that. And I remember that from being backstage in Vegas. And then I also remember sitting in the wings watching. And it's going to be a different thing. But like, I know in my experience, and I was not past tense, whether he likes it or not, I'm still mothering him, and I will until he dies. He's 22 now, but as far as I'm concerned, he will always be my baby. Being a working mom, it really does take a village, and having 2 parents that are full-time workers takes a village. Who do you think is going to be? I mean, it took a village for me to raise my son, and so far he has not, as far as I'm aware, become a serial killer, and the dog has not brought like a femur out of the backyard. Who's going to be in your village?
Oh, I mean, we have a very, very like close knit like friend family group. Like our friends are people that we consider family as well. So it's like,
and our families, like our
obviously families
live 20 minutes away.
And right now we're bi-coastal, so we have our LA family, and then we have our Orlando family, and then her parents are both out in Orlando, and then my dad lives here, my mom's in Texas. But then in LA, like I have my close friends is like my brothers, and with second that she got pregnant, they're like, we're pregnant, it's like that.
It's
like,
very
we did
surprising to me. I've noticed, especially with the LA friends, that a lot of times when you get pregnant and your friends aren't pregnant, you kind of don't really hear from them anymore, because everyone has their own like lives, their own things that they're doing. Yes. Everyone busy doing their own things. But I've noticed that with specifically his LA friends, I hear from them more now that our LA friends. I hear from them more now that I'm pregnant with, what do you need? What can I do for you? Checking in.
Sure, you're good.
Do you need anyone to come hang out with you today? I bought this for the baby. Like, so it's very different dynamic, especially from, our friends in Orlando, because our friends in Orlando, they're all like super busy, traveling, working, all this stuff. But even with how busy like his LA friends are, our LA friends are, they've been so awesome and supportive. And there hasn't been a week or day that's gone by where one of them hasn't checked on me, or when I'm there alone, one of them came and he was just like, you know what, we're just going to sit and watch trash reality TV and eat pizza all day. And that's what we did. And it was great. And they're just all super supportive and super excited. And yeah, everyone's like, we're pregnant.
Yeah.
So before I let you guys go, we've come up with a little game. We call it the baby registry game.
Ooh.
Now we're going to see if you were on the same page with parenting.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I'm going to list high-end baby products that people can register for. You're going to say if it's something you want or something you'd pass on. For example, linen diapers. If it's something you want, you say, ooh, swaddle it. If it's something you don't want, you say, toss it in the diaper genie.
Okay.
Okay. A wipey warmer.
I say
toss it.
I say swaddle it. I have one on our registry.
It's gonna be exactly like this the whole time. So,
A Dolce & Gabbana $475 onesie.
Oh no.
Oh, toss it.
Toss it, yeah.
Wait. Is it free? Is it gifted to us?
No, it's just if you would you want it?
If it's free, yes. If not, toss it.
Okay. A male nursing prosthetic, aka Mr. Milker.
We actually joked about that.
Yes.
I just would want to see him in it.
Yes. Meat walkers, let's go. Hook it up.
Swaddle it.
I'll do the thing with like the iPad with her face on it.
The electric snot sucker.
Yes. Or swaddle it.
Swaddle it.
Swaddle it. Okay.
Absolutely.
This one has a little description. Okay. The happiest baby smart sleeper bassinet, which incorporates the 5 S's of good infant sleep. Swaddling, side sleeping, shushing, swinging, and sucking. Now, I personally think I need one of these if it comes in adult side. It's $1,700.
I say
swaddle it.
If it's worth
Some things are worth paying the money for.
For sleep.
Yes. If that's gonna that sounds amazing. I need one of those too. 100%.
I do too. I wanted to swaddle me and swing me, to do all of that.
Because if we have a second baby, we could justify it saying like this will also be for our next baby.
Yeah.
And then after that, we could pass it forward to someone else who's having a baby. Boom, justified $1,700. Sign us up.
You are so sweet that you think that shit actually does happen. Cashmere baby blanket.
Oh, I say swaddle it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to go with you on that one. The Tiffany silver baby fork and spoon, or, which I always send, the Tiffany sterling silver little comb. But I've given it as a gift, and I will tell you all of it is totally useless. So silverware from Tiffany.
You love Tiffany though, but I say toss it.
Yeah, toss it. If it's not something that's going to be to use.
Yeah. Do you like the Tiffany?
I do love Tiffany, but.
Well, good. That's going to be a good place for a push gift, which you and I will talk about separately. And then my favorite.
It's done. I'm good.
You got it already? Impressive. I'm getting more and more impressed by you. Baby Breeze formula mixer, which is like a Keurig for formula.
Oh, yes.
Swaddle it.
Swaddle it. Yeah, we already have that.
You guys, I absolutely adore you. I could talk to you guys all day. You are charming and funny and are going to be such great parents. And this has been such a total pleasure for me. Let me know when you're in LA. Keep an important safety tip, those shorts that you love with the yoga fabric in the front, you're still going to need those for a little while after you're pregnant. It's so depressing. I left the hospital in scrubs. That was the best I could do. Lexi and Ryan, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll send you details of the baby shower.